MLB recently said no. The executive council said no to the proposal for the Rays to split time between Tampa and Montreal. In Tampa, there was a lot of disappointment over the league's decision. Team officials were very vocal, feeling that they had been either undermined or not played it straight by the league office. What's your take on that?
And the Academy Award goes to Stuart Sternberg. When he took the podium to give that press conference, best actor, best supporting actor, everything. He had bags under his eyes. They put on like dark makeup to make him look tired and old. He knew from the beginning that the split city was not a possibility. This was his way to try to show desperation and show the owners and everybody that he did everything possible to keep the team in Tampa. He's been talking about relocating that team for 15 years. Whether or not he will be able to negotiate a relocation fee and take a possible expansion market is a big wait to see. But I think this ends with a franchise sale and with a ballpark being done in Tampa with a new owner. The issue with the split city is that the players union was never going to go for it. And the reason the executive council decided to give a no when it did, it's not a coincidence, Abe. It just didn't fall out of the sky.
Right.
They're doing negotiations in earnest for a new collective bargaining agreement. When the players sit at the table, they say to themselves, hey, what if we agreed to a split city? What are you going to give us for that? And the owners would say, nothing, because that's not happening. And the players would say, but wait a minute, that's been going on for years. We thought for sure you wanted that. So we talked about it with our people in the union, and we'll be okay with it if we get A, B, and C. And the MLB said, no way. This is not an economic issue. This is not something that gets traded in a negotiation. So we are going to put an end to this right now. So when negotiations go forward in earnest, it's not even on the table. So for Stu to act surprised at either the timing or the result really made me smile, because no one in his right mind who's been in the game believes that any of that would have been possible.
Well, you're still looking at markets like Montreal, like Nashville, like Charlotte, like Portland, like Las Vegas, David, who still talk or have this drumbeat about expansion. Is Rob Manfred going to look at expansion potentially after a collective bargaining agreement?
We've been looking at expansion. I've been out of the game since the end of 2017. We were looking at expansion on the competition committee, on the strategic planning committee for years before that. The goal is to get to 32 teams, 2 leagues of 16, complete realignment. So you're at a team in the West, you had a team in the East, and now after COVID, when there is such a need to make up for lost revenue, you really need that billion-dollar number per city. You need to find ownership. You need to find a fully funded facility, a TV deal, a naming rights deal, sponsorship support, ticket sales support, plus that fee. And they need that in 2 cities. They're not going to waste cities with relocation when they need as many cities bidding for expansion as possible. That's why the Oakland A's are not going to move to Las Vegas. There is no way Vegas will be taken off the table as an expansion city. And there's no way that John Fisher, the owner of the A's, is going to pay $1 billion to the league to move his team to Vegas. They can buy as much land as they want. They can do as many surveys as they want about how interested everyone is in having the A's in Las Vegas, and none of that matters. Those cities will be reserved. You'll see the A's get a new ballpark in Oakland. They will get that deal done. You'll see Tampa get a new ballpark in Tampa, and then within 5 years, you will see this league at 32 teams, and the owners know it.
And to your other point, I think you're seeing progress in Oakland already with the city council. And the last point I'll make is, if you were an owner, you're still seeing this potentially declining regional sport network revenue, which has to cause you concern in terms, certainly how big that local revenue, that local media revenue was. And during that changing marketplace, that's not a given going forward.
Yeah, that's where MLB happens to be vulnerable, actually, because if you look at the National Football League, they could care less about regional sports networks. It's all about the national deal. And baseball just did sign a new national deal, which is a nice increase. But teams, the differentiating factor between large revenue and small revenue teams has always been and will always be in the local TV deals. And those local TV deals, they're going to become more and more valuable as it relates to streaming. Because what you're going to see going forward is more a la carte, It's all about streaming. It's not a coincidence that you're seeing games with Amazon or ESPN Plus or Paramount Plus. This is what the future is. It's not that the money is going to decrease. It's where the money is going to come from. And that's the problem for Bally's, who have all that debt with the acquisition of the Fox regional networks. That is a problem because the regional network model, sans streaming, is a dinosaur. And the question is, when will the fossils be buried? And the answer is sooner rather than later.
And to your point, where does that money come from? So, David Samson, always great to see you. Always great to get your perspective. Very informed, very enlightening for our viewers. So thanks for joining us on SBJ Spotlight. And for everyone out there, I'm Abe Madkour. Look for another episode or another quick hit from SBJ Spotlight coming soon.